Beatitudes, and I think all of us, we hear them and they strike just at least a memory. It's one of the scriptural passages that we don't forget, so to speak. And they are, in the Gospel of Matthew, setting the tone for all of Jesus' teachings. So if you go back to the Gospel of Matthew, Jesus has, and you see kind of his layout of his whole gospel. There's a section in his gospel that's just all the teachings of Jesus. Obviously, there's encounters where Jesus teaches in those encounters, but there's this one section that is just like teaching after teaching after teaching, all of Jesus' kind of rules and how he sees reality, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. You should forgive 7 times 7. All of these teachings, they're all just like listed. But Matthew, he sets the beginning of this whole structure of Jesus' quote-unquote rules with the Beatitudes. They serve, as it were, almost as a lens through which to understand then all of Jesus' other teachings. They're kind of like the undertone of a song that kind of repeats itself, so that you, whenever Jesus is teaching, you hearken back to the Beatitudes. The Catechism puts it this way: the Beatitudes are at the heart of Jesus' teaching. They express the vocation of the faithful. They shed light on the actions and attitudes characteristic of the Christian life. In other words, the Beatitudes matter. They're not simply meant to be a plaque that you hang up in your bathroom. They really become the core, the vision of Jesus' way of life that he invites us into. So it's important that we understand it. The first thing to recognize with the Beatitudes is the word that he begins over and over again: blessed. Blessed are the poor in spirit. Blessed are the peacemakers. Blessed, blessed, blessed. The original Greek is makarioi, and it literally means happiness. Not superficial happiness, but like in the innermost being of my heart, completion, fullness, happiness. Well, it's important for you and I to pause and reflect, why did Jesus begin with happiness? Happy are the poor in spirit. Happy are the peacemakers. Everyone's ears would have perked up. Every human being on this planet seeks, longs for happiness. And we want it for its own sake. Think of all the other things that you want in life. I want a good job. Well, why? So I can make more money. Well, why? So that I could buy a bigger house. Well, why? At the end of the day, the final answer to all of that is, so I could be happy. The final good that the human heart seeks is happiness, true happiness. And this is why Jesus begins with that desire. He wants to appeal to your hearts. It's not a random list of rules. He knows what you want. He made you. And he knows that each one of you, I promise, you're seeking happiness. And Jesus, God incarnate, begins with happy. I think it's important just to remind ourselves, the most of the culture, when they think of Christianity, do they think of happiness? No, they think of enslavement, rules, rigidity, boring. That's what they think of. They think it's the one thing in my life that's going to completely rob me of true happiness. And even you sitting in the pews, you may not articulate it in that way, but I promise there's a part of you that believes that. If I were to actually give myself completely over to God, I wouldn't be happy. If I were to actually follow Jesus' teachings, I wouldn't be happy. So it's good that we pause and we remind ourselves all of Jesus' teachings begins with makarioi, happiness. And what ensues then is his vision of what is going to bring you that happiness. The Greek philosophers, they identified, this is long before Christianity, 4 goods that the human heart kind of just instinctively gravitates to. 4 goods that the human heart believes will bring me happiness. The first being pleasure. There's this understanding, and I'm pretty sure many of you buy into this, if I just increase the pleasure in my life, then I'll be happy. Bigger parties, more alcohol, stronger weed, more sex, whatever it may be, a more comfortable house, a better bed, greater vacation spot, nicer food, if I just increase the pleasures in my life, then my happiness will increase with them. We believe and we equate pleasure with happiness. The other one being power. Many people aren't seeking power as like, I want to be the president of the United States. But all of you, I promise, most of you or many of you think this: I want to be in control. It's just another form of power. I want to be in control of my life. I want to be in control of the situation. I want to be in control of relationships. I want to be able to manipulate them, make sure I get what I want out of them. I want to be in control of the vision of reality. That's a big one today. I want to dictate what is right and wrong. I want to dictate what faith is. I want to dictate what Christianity is. Me, 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 me. That's power. Just another form. And it feeds into, if I have power, if I have control, then I'll be happy. Pleasure, power, honor. This is people, we walk into a room and we're like, I hope people like me. This is what keeps you from speaking the truth that you know people aren't going to want to hear. What are you seeking? Honor. I want people to like me. It's when you enter into a room and you're conscious of what everyone is thinking. When you're just kind of nervous about saying something in a group of people because you're thinking, what are they going to think, or how are they going to receive it? Well, what are you seeking there? You're seeking people's approval. At the end of the day, it's honor. And you think, if I have honor, if I have people's approval, the more people's approval that I get, especially the really popular ones, the cool ones, then I'll be happy. High school students, you deal with this like so badly. College students, you do too. But high school students, that's all you think about. I need honor. I need popularity. It's another form of it. I need popularity. If I get popularity, then I'll be happy. Okay. Honor, pleasure, power, and this one eats at the human heart, especially in the United States. Wealth. Give me some money. The more money I get, the happier I'll get. I better get a really good job that gives me a lot of money, and this job isn't giving me enough money, so give me another money. I'm freaking out because my 401k isn't doing it. What drives politics? What drives politics? At the end of the day, money. It's the good that everyone seeks because they think if I get that money, then I'll be happy. Okay, the Greeks identified these four goods, and all of you, I hope you see, where's your heart resonating with them? And then they said, and none of them satisfy. The Greeks understood this before Christianity. None of them actually meet the longing of the human heart. Why? Well, you see it play out in human affairs. I get power, but then I need more power. And then I get even more power, and that power isn't enough, so I seek even greater power. I get a little bit of money, and I'm like, oh, sweet, I got some money. Then you're like, you know what? It's not just 50,000, I want 100,000. It's not just 100,000, I need 300,000, right? We keep going after it because it feeds an addiction. Think of pornography. I mean, this is a huge issue. You begin with just little images, and then the next thing you're more explicit, feeding little, and next thing you're having promiscuous sex, right? It's true, it's real. What is that doing? I'm grasping after this that I think is a good that's going to make me happy. And it does for a moment, but not enough. And so then I think I need more, and then more, and then more. And we become addicts. That's what it is. We're like an alcoholic. We started with 2 beers, then it was 4 beers, and I found myself drinking all day long. Well, all of us sinful human beings, we're addicts. And we're clinging to one of these goods thinking they're going to satisfy. Jesus' beatitudes are the correction to those erring desires. Why are the poor blessed? Because they're not addicted to wealth. Why are those who mourn blessed? Because they aren't addicted to pleasure. Why are the meek blessed? Because they aren't addicted to power. Why are the persecuted blessed? Because they aren't addicted to honor. Jesus, at the end of the day, wants you to be happy. But he says you're clinging on all the wrong things like an addict thinking they're going to satisfy. And the only way to true happiness is learning to detach, disciplining your desires in order to finally attain the ultimate good that will satisfy your heart. Okay, I promise this is the last thing. Our culture believes happiness is joined to freedom, which is true. But what their definition of freedom is simply this: freedom from any kind of responsibility or moral code, freedom from anything beyond me that demands something from me. That's our culture. To be free means my ego gets to dictate what I want. My ego gets to do what I want. No moral code. Don't tell me what not to do. Don't say that I'm not, or I'm a biological man or a biological woman. I decide. My ego, free to do whatever. That's freedom. That's not a classical or a Christian understanding of freedom. Someone who's truly free has disciplined their desires in order to attain the good. Give you a very banal example. Think of a football team that wants to win the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is the good that's going to make them happy. How do they attain it? Just doing whatever they want all year long. Just eating whatever they want, not listening, not focusing, not examining their play style, not exercising. No, of course not. How do they actually attain that good? Discipline, hard work, listening. The coach yells at them and they're like, okay. They're like, get harder, lift, go into the exercise room. Your muscles are weak. Your spiritual muscles are weak. They look at film and they see everything they did wrong. You examine your conscience and you realize, man, I'm making mistakes. You attain the good because you said, I want that good and to discipline my desires, then I'll attain it. Life is the same way. You don't sit on a little floaty and live life well. You discipline your life according to what is true, a moral code, creation as God intended. And by living into that, you become free and you're able to attain the good, and that makes you happy. In a few moments as you receive the living Lord, I just invite you, think about those: power, pleasure, honor, wealth. Where does your heart gravitate to the most? What are you clinging on to? And I just invite you, let the Lord kind of speak to you and maybe give you a very concrete way to let go of one of those things, as to actually focus on the one thing, our Lord Jesus Christ, that will ultimately make us happy.